The cab is so small. What are the odds we get you to do a big roller at the end?
Oh
Yeah?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Really?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what got you into what you do and what it is that you do?
Wow. How long did you say this was?
Yeah.
I guess what really got me into doing wraps, I mean, opening a business, I guess, being an entrepreneur, I feel like I've always wanted to. And then I moved out west because I wanted to do heavy equipment, start my own kind of landscape stuff. So I wanted to move out west, get a lot of experience, make bank for like a year or two, and then come back and do that. And then I met a girl, and she had a little kid, and then it's relationship stuff. And then 4 years later, then you're still there, and you're not really doing what you set out to do. But yeah, so I was really focused on money going out there, very, very money focused. And so when I moved back, it was a weird transition, I guess, because the last 2 years probably that I was out west, I started getting really depressed, hating my job, even though I was making a lot of money. It wasn't what I wanted in life. So then I made a shift to doing something that I wanted to do, what I wanted to enjoy and be passionate about. I actually started listening to Gary Vee.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Like,
everybody knows.
yeah.
We're in content,
Right?
We're not cutting this into enough shorts.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Content, like 50, what is it, 15 pieces a day or something?
I don't know, bro. I think it's 5 million pieces a day.
Really?
Yeah. If you're not doing 5 million pieces a day, you might as well just close shop.
Doing anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, shut her down.
No, I like Gary. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. And literally watching him for the last 2 years that I was out west changed my life forever. As cheesy as that sounds. But yeah, so I was really chasing money as opposed to being happy and doing something that I liked and letting the money follow me. It sounds made up when you hear it, and then you start doing it, and you're like, oh shit, like this is actually true, And so so I started searching for something that I would enjoy. I started watching lots of rap videos and stuff like that, and then I looked online one day when I was really unhappy for a job. And a local sign shop was looking for an installer. And I was like, shit, I'm going to apply to that. Zero experience. And they messaged me back. It was literally like $20 an hour less than what I was making. So that was super nerve-wracking. But yeah, so I ended up getting the job based on my personality, based on who I was. They kind of really saw, a future with me.
Yeah.
And it really took off. So it was really good. Did that for a year or whatever, and ended up breaking up with the girlfriend at the time. And I was like, this is my opportunity to move back home, be close to my parents because they're a big part of my life. And so, so I did all that and left that place, which was by far the best place I've ever worked in my life. So shout out to Jen and Dave at West.
Nice.
They're absolutely amazing. She's actually my business coach now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We talk, here and there. And Dave, he's been a huge mentor in my life. And then, so I moved back and I was like, all right, it's time to do this. And the Sunday before the Monday that I was supposed to sign the lease to the building to start the business, I got on my motorcycle accident on the 417. So that put me out of commission.
How bad was the accident?
It was pretty bad. I don't know. I was probably insurance wise. I was going very slow and slipped on the gravel and, flew 140 feet into a field.
Yeah, that always happens when you're doing like 60 kilometers an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So not ideal.
Yeah.
So I was pretty messed up from that. It was pretty bad.
And it was your hands, right? Did you fuck up your hands,
so
or your hands were
this hand here. So I had a plate, screws.
Yeah.
My neck and my back were really bad.
Yeah. Probably not ideal as doing in the type of work that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, when I got hurt, I actually met my girlfriend at my current time, Claire. I met her, and as soon as we started dating, I was obviously still injured, very fresh, and she absolutely helped me through everything. So like one thing, I guess to any business owner or entrepreneur is to either stay single because it's not ideal, or find somebody that literally has your back. And I feel like that's really hard to find because a lot of them will be like, yeah, I love entrepreneurship. I love like a guy that hustles. And then they see the lifestyle and they're like, what the fuck is this? This is ridiculous. Like you need to be home more, you know?
Yeah.
So finding her during that time was huge because I literally couldn't, like if I sat down and I wanted to like move my head, it would be like a 5-minute thing.
Brutal.
If we wanted to cuddle, it was like, okay, like I'm going down here. I like take a break. I would, because I'd pass out. Instantly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was really cool for her to do that.
Yeah, that is rare because a lot of people, I think the same thing. Like, there's like a lot of like young kids that are like young kids, like in their early 20s that are like focused on, you know, finding a relationship and whatever. And like, it is cliche, but you should really just focus on yourself until you get to that point where you built something, some kind of value. But if you can find somebody, which is very rare, because like you mentioned, like most people are not. It sounds great. Like it sounds like it's like this fairy tale thing of, oh yeah, like we, you know, has a business and we get to do whatever. And even if that business affords you certain material or like luxury items, you're kind of at that place for the reason that you've invested 24/7 of your time. And if you aren't doing that currently, you have in the past. I don't know a single first gen business owner that hasn't given their entire life to what they do. Right. So that's pretty cool what you guys.
Yeah.
And you've told me some stories in the past, like we'll probably get into that as you go. But so anyways, you got in the accident, you're about to sign the lease. What happens from there?
Then I just recover. And I started doing third-party work for another local business while I'm recovering. I would say probably 80% of those installs Claire did. So she learned how to wrap, how to put signs up, how to put everything within like months.
That's crazy.
It's huge, man. So that was a big one. And then, so then starting, I guess, fast forward to like, all right, I'm going to do this. My wrist is kind of better. My dizziness is getting a little bit better. It's time. Then I look for a building. Here's one. I guess the biggest thing also that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is, I don't know, I guess how hard starting a business is. I like told my dad, by the way, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to admit like where they get their money from. My dad literally funded my whole first year. Like he was my bank because getting a loan anywhere, getting money, getting funding, anything like that is absolutely impossible. So he like that whole first year it was, and I absolutely hate asking anybody for money, especially my dad. And so every 2-3 days I'd be like, hey, I need like $200. So I got to order material for this wrap or whatever. He's like, all right, cool. Here you go. But in my mind, I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks so bad. So it's even more reason, more like motivation to like get out of your parents' pocket essentially. And not that they're like wealthy or anything. Like this was probably his life savings for me to like inherit when he passes away. And here I am dipping into everything. And so like, I'd rather use it while he's alive and allow him to watch me, succeed and do these fun things. It was just a really.
How was the process of like getting a building? Like, what does that look like? Like, so you're still like, I think a lot of people may or may not realize, like you're still working, you're still trying to like put food on the table and like, pay your bills, but on the side, what you're looking for a building, you're going and checking out spaces. Like, what does that process look like? Because a lot of people that may or may not be starting a business will at some point go through that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the hardest thing for me was moving from Alberta, not having a job lined up because I'm going to start a business, riding my bike around for, a couple weeks, getting in the accident, and now I can't work. Just starting a business was the most unideal situation any entrepreneur could be in. I feel like like everything was stacked against me in a way, but it was even more motivation to do that. So while I was, riding my bike and stuff, I'd go look at places, always be searching and stuff. But yeah, it was just a really hard process finding a building, finding something that's going to fit, that's not too big, that's not too small, affordable, so that you can kind of, pay the bills when you're not bringing any money. So it's a huge, I feel like for a lot of people, when you have like a plan B, when you have a full-time job or a really gravy job and you're like, all right, I can kind of be an entrepreneur. Like a part-time entrepreneurship is like, you're going to fail. Like bad idea. You're either like all in and you have no plan B, you have no out, you have nothing. Like this is your life.
Yeah.
You still might fail, but you're going to put everything in. Like you can go to sleep at night and be like, I did absolutely everything I could. But yeah, I guess back to your point, like finding a building is not easy because once they're up, they're gone, or they don't even hit the market and they're gone.
Was it hard finding a building that fit your nature of work? Like, because obviously you probably need like a bay door, like ground level, like there's probably tons of second floor space.
Yeah,
That's a great rate. What was like this area like for that? Was it easy to find one at the time? Was there options, or did you have to wait a while to even find something that would fit?
I just searched for like a good little while. There wasn't much. And actually the building that I have now is a very successful entrepreneur now. So he essentially has these nice little places that aren't, the nicest, but for entrepreneurs, like he believes in entrepreneurship and like giving people a hand and stuff like that. So he was super helpful as well.
Cool.
But yeah, finding that place was, I don't know, for me, not that hard, I guess. It was just, I need a bay. It needs to be this. I need to have room for my plotter, my equipment, material, and then that's it. So I guess it can be hard.
Yeah.
But
cool.
It's like perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's either it's going to work or it's not going to work. So,
Yeah.
I mean, initially, before the building, I was going to do it at a friend's house in a garage. And Dave, my mentor, he was like, listen, man, I remember the conversation super well. I was at my dad's. He lives on the water. I was on the dock. It was probably like 5 a.m. here. So like probably 3 a.m. in Alberta. And he called me up and he's like, listen, man, you do not want to go to a friend's place because you're not going to be committed. Like it'll be like, you're not busy. I'm just going to go fishing today. I'm going to take off there. You're going to have no reason to like stick around. Again, like that plan B thing. Yeah. So he's like, you need a brick and mortar. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. But every day that you leave, you're gonna have that key. You're gonna turn around and be like, "Holy shit! Like, this is mine. Like, it's doing something." And the other advice he gave me was, if you ever get to a position in your business that everything's paid off and you're losing motivation, go buy a house, go buy a Lambo, go buy this, get another payment to make you fucking hustle again. Yeah, because like that's what motivated in the first place.
Yeah,
I need something. I need something.
There's a ton of value in that. I think I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. For me, a story about my 20s with that. I did that thing, except I kind of over leveraged myself because I didn't understand that you actually, I was very new. I was very green to the entrepreneurial journey. And so I went maybe a little too hard on that and over leveraged myself at times. Whereas then the philosophy totally shifted for James because we've done everything at this point the opposite of that, which was completely debt free. So we don't have any payments on anything personal or in the business, which is like crazy for me to think about based on how fucking brutal it was back in like my mid 20s. But that is really good advice. And I think a lot of people resonate with that because if they don't have something to like, a lot of people need motivation. Like a lot of people don't really wake up just like fired up and, like just ambitious for the sake of ambition. Yeah. So that's really good advice.
Yeah. I mean, whether, like it's a car payment, a house, family, a kid, anything like that. Like you need your motivation in life. It could be personal too. Like mine is most definitely personal. But it's also like, I want to set my family up so they don't have to, worry. I want to set my girlfriend up in case I do get in a motorcycle accident and don't make it through it. I want them to like not have to worry about shit, right?
Yeah. And I think it compounds too. Like as you start to get those things, there's a lot of value in like luxuries in life. And that a luxury could be the building that you're working in or where you call your office or your home base. And I think there's a lot of value in like seeing that compounding nature of like, holy shit, this is what's possible. Okay, what can I do next?
Exactly.
So once you have like a couple small wins, and those things are like those small wins, it just like stacks on itself. 100%. And then you create like this awesome momentum that then you can't stop, because then it just becomes fun, right?
It's funny because I remember when you came to the shop, like one of the first couple of times we like met and started like talking and stuff, and you showed up. Was it with the R8?
It might have been the R8 or the M6. Was it the R8?
I feel like it was. Oh yeah, maybe it was the M6. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, like what's next? And you're like, oh, like I'd really like an R8 like sometime in
that's what
like
it was.
2 years.
It was the M6.
Yeah.
I showed up in the M6, and I was like, yeah, I'd love like an R8
next year, next 2 years, like R6. That's our goal.
Yeah.
And then like a month later, shows up in the R8. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then I'm like, all right, so what's next? I don't know, man. Like I think probably in the next like 2, 3, maybe 5 years, I don't know, like a Lambo or something. Like next couple months shows up in a Lambo. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, that's what you said. You're like, you're constantly chasing this, like, kind of like this high of like, all right, what, like this, I never thought that this was possible.
Yeah.
What do I do now? Like when I first started, it was like my first newer Civic in the shop that I'm touching, and I'm like, I'm tinting or something. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy, man. Like I can't believe I'm tinting someone's new Civic.
Yeah.
And then we get our first Tesla. I absolutely love Teslas. We get our first Tesla. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I've made it. This is unreal.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, first Ferrari, first Lambo, first R8, brand new Corvettes we're working on. It's like absolutely like mind blowing, the opportunity. And like, yeah, like now what? I know an installer in Vancouver, super awesome guy, young like us. And, he has a deal with the McLaren dealership. So all he works on all day is McLarens, like all day. And he's like, yeah, like the McLaren, whatever. And I'm like, bro, are you kidding me?
It's crazy how fast you become like acclimated to something.
Exactly.
And like, yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Like, like the Lambo thing, like that was I waited like 34 years basically to get that car. Well, since I was 18, so do the math. I'm doing the math on it, but, and then you get it, and then it's like 2 weeks, and then literally Jake and I are sitting there going like, okay, what's next? Not because you're like dissatisfied, but because like, and that's like, I think there's a huge lesson in there that if that, it is the most cliche thing in the world, but if you are just doing it for the sake of doing that thing, like just the material thing, you will get that thing. You probably will achieve it, which is awesome. Like kudos to you. But that is not going to be fulfilling for you. It might it'll make you happy for sure. Like I do believe money buys happiness. I've been super poor in my life, and I've had some money in my life. I will choose having money every day of the week 100%. Over being poor. Yeah. But that's not going to fulfill you over time. And so I think like finding that thing, even if it's the process or whatever it is, you have to fall in love with the process, and you also have to like find something that fulfills you.
Exactly.
And I think you can like learn and modify what those things are, but yeah, so anyways, you're in the shop and you've signed the lease.
Yeah.
What did you was it just automotive at the start? Cause you guys do like a bit of stuff now, like kind of across the board. What's that process look like in year one?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like, I guess, hence the name Wrapture. It was very rap related. At the last job, it was very commercial based. So it was like signs, commercial wraps, things like that. And I really wanted to hit a market where I was working on Lambos. And the only way I saw that possible, like nobody's going to get a commercial wrap on a Lambo, was to do color change. Turns out color change wraps are not very profitable. So it's more of a passion. You know, I enjoy doing it. I love the outcome. It's super fun. You get to work on nice cars. But as a business, I quickly realized that like, probably not achievable to keep doing this. So then we started introducing commercial wraps, signs, paint protection films, ceramic coating, window tint. All of those things were really like the bread and butter of a business. Now we've recently gone into a lot of flat glass, so like commercial and residential window film. So basically tinting your windows for your home. And that and paint protection film is definitely our main focus now. And then we start working down the line after that to, you know, window tint for cars. Wrap, color change wraps is literally the last on the list now. It's like someone calls in for a quote for a wrap and we're like, I'm super pumped. And like, I'm not saying no, but like, damn.
That's just not your high.
Exactly.
Stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's really, like, I have zero business experience, didn't go to school for business, had no idea how to run a business, absolutely nothing. And so to go into the business, telling my dad, being like, all right, so this is my business plan. I've got a tool belt.
Yep.
They're going to pay me 50% for wrap material. So that's how I'm going to buy the material. And then they're going to pay me after I'm done the project. That's going to pay the bills. And then realizing that, like, oh, I have to pay tax. I have to do this. I have to pay heat. I got to pay hydro. I got to pay WSIB. I got to hire people. Like, it quickly turns from, like, this is so easy, why doesn't everybody do this, to, oh, now I see why not everybody does this, or so many businesses fail.
Yeah.
So realizing that was, like, huge. And it's been a really hard lesson. A lot of scary times.
Yeah.
I mean, still, like, there's times where I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah. So but again, that's that motivator on, like, okay, well, what else am I going to do? Am I going to go work for somebody else and do this?
Sure.
Or am I going to keep fucking going?
Yeah.
Bro, this thing is dope as hell. Yeah, look at this shit.
Oh, man, what the hell's going?
I can't even finger that thing.
Good to see you. See you.
Yeah, bro, look at this. Dylan, check out the patina on this.
Is it actually how you draw? No. I mean, realistically.
Bro, this is nasty.
And then it's like quick shift. And you're like, all right, let's go.
Is it hard, like, being, like, Kingston's a small town? Do you think you would have more, like, with the car market, for example, like, specifically, is there, like, do you think that would be different if you were in a bigger city? Like, you could start, yeah?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, every time. So the crazy part about my industry is the things I've achieved, and the things that I've been able to do are things that I never thought this industry would offer. So, like, I've been to Amelia Island on a resort to do a tint battle. So I went to compete.
So what's a tint battle?
So a tint battle is a bunch of teams, a bunch of people coming in one place, and we tint a car. So there's rules. There's, okay, like, there can only be so much contamination. You have 10 minutes to tint this window. Everybody gets the same window, and you just work down the line. And so the one that I went to in Amelia Island was a team battle. So Expel, the brand that we carry, the one rep, his name's Dean Mitchell out of Montreal. He's the rep for the US, which is kind of weird, but we became Team Canada because we're basically the only Canadians in our industry that actually go to any sort of events like this.
Crazy.
Absolutely unreal.
Is this is it a newer industry, like, or is this, like, how old is, like, this, like, area realm of the industry? Like, obviously, like graphics and stuff's been around since printers have been around, 100%. But, like, in terms of, like, vehicle mods and that type of the side of the business, is it newer? Like, how old is that?
I feel like even wrapping vehicles. So Dave, my mentor, he was wrapping cars with calendared film, which is, like, mind blowing. It's so sticky. There's no, like, air release. There's no technology into it. It's a nightmare. And he was doing that, like, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
So when you know how to do that, like, you know, you're like a next level kind of guy.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not new. It's just in the US specifically. And I would say within the last 2-3 years, it really blew up because, I wouldn't say just because, but there's an app called TintWiz, which we use for the last 3 years.
Yep.
And they are, Eric and his team are extremely driven to bring people together and make a very positive environment for the community. And so with his support and a lot of other people coming together, it just brought a lot of like-minded people together, which made it more enjoyable to attend these things. So the events are new, I would say. There's one WFCT, which was my first event. It was in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
So TintWiz actually flew me out to compete for Team TintWiz to Texas, paid for my flight, paid for my hotel, paid for everything there, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so WFCT is the window film conference and tint off, and it's been around for many years. And it's very corporate-y, I would say.
Yeah.
So then TintWiz started making their own events. And other people have their own events as well, and they're more fun, they're more interactive, family oriented, all those kind of things, like on the resort.
Cool.
Let's
Oh,
go
that's
to the
sick.
resort.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite thing about your industry?
That's a hard one, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You love all of it. It's all good.
Honestly, like the industry is so laid back. Like when I worked at that sign shop in Alberta, I learned so much, not about only business, enjoying life, all those things. But the biggest thing when I first started, I had a bunch of stomach issues, and I was very open the first day with that. And they're like, listen, if you need a day off, 2 days off, whatever, your health is your main focus. And we're not curing cancer here. So if someone is mad that they're not getting their sign on time, they have bigger issues in life. Because like if you're worried about a sticker, like you need to chill out, right? And so that's kind of the same concept that I've carried on, because I truly believe in it. We obviously would try to hit deadlines and everything like that, but at the end of the day, same as you, like, yes, we're trying to hit deadlines. Yes, we have products to get out and expectations, but at the end of the day, if you don't get a commercial out, or you don't get a reel out or something, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Our clients wouldn't agree.
Same.
But they definitely feel like they're curing cancer sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, so I guess I don't really have a least favorite part.
Gotcha.
It's all good.
Cool. What would be your advice to somebody that's like wanting to get into this space, in the kind of like ownership part of it, not just like becoming part of the industry, but like if someone was looking to open a wrap shop, what would you tell them? What would be your best advice?
Don't do color change wraps.
Nice. So that's actually an interesting point, because I approached media a very kind of similar way. Yeah. Obviously, I love shooting like bands, and I love doing like fashion content, which is like it's sexy, it's cool, everybody loves it. So I'd be like color changes, like taking a Lambo, making it pink instead of black, whatever. But what I realized is everyone's competing for those jobs in our industry, like the fashion fitness stuff or the bands, and they pay like absolute shit. 100%. You've got 14 different creators that are bidding on a $200 job that literally
destroy the market.
You just fuck the market, and they're just getting, I got clout because I worked with X. And it's like, no, I don't. Nobody cares.
That's right.
And so what my whole approach to James was very much similar to that, in the sense that I was like, I don't want to take any sexy jobs. I'm going to take, at the start, like our beginnings was, I will take every shitty job that no creative wants. I'll put a creative twist on it. It'll instantly stand out above the market, because they're used to dealing with just the worst of the worst, like newscaster style shooting. And they all have sick budgets. Right. So I'll take the manufacturing shop. We'll take the school board organization. We'll do the hospital job that has, 100x budget to these guys that are competing for the new cafe or the new fashion thing or whatever. Yeah. And then we can do those passion projects if we want to.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's very interesting. It's a different approach. And I think a lot of people just get consumed with the sexy part of it.
100%.
And then, in our industry, there's like the starving artist thing.
Right.
So it's like everybody's like, oh, you're in video. Like it's like kind of that starving artist. Or if you're a musician, it's like starving artist. I know a lot of musicians that will never see a stage, but they write for labels and they make fucking 7 figures plus every year. Yeah. Like, but you don't know who they are because they're taking all the non-sexy jobs.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of people too they have to start somewhere, right? So like you're doing those jobs for dirt cheap, sometimes for free, just to get the clout, just to try to make a name for yourself, not realizing that it's probably hurting you in the end, right? Like you're now price driven, which is like not a good business motto. And I 100% agree.
Yeah. And that being said, there might be a few people out there that are like, I don't care how much money I make. I would be totally fine making basically minimum wage, doing what I love to do, which is really cool. Unfortunately, that's an outlier, and a lot of people wonder why they're like struggling. And it's like, well, you haven't really identified like your market, or like you haven't identified where the money flow is in your market. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. You kind of got to figure it out along the way. That's and try everything. Like I'm probably like you. How many free jobs have you done? like a ton, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you have to, because you build
the way it is.
You build your skill set.
And I feel like the same thing goes for my business was built on crumbs. So people coming in and being like, hey, like, can you make this $2 sticker? And I'm like, yeah, like, it takes me an hour, but like, sure, I need to make money somehow. And still being humble enough to know where you came from. And I still accept that. Like, I'm talking about color change wraps and they're like the last on our list, but we don't filter the list. Like, I don't have like 5 people calling and be like, okay, this one's going to make me more money and this one's not. If you're coming in order and I can get you in this day, I will do a color change wrap for you. So I'm not filtering things. I just know that realistically, I would like people to know us more for the more profitable jobs. But people come in, like, we just got some like Queens mugs and it's like, you know, $10 a mug. And it took Caitlin like, you know, an hour to like weed them all and like pick out the little letters and everything and put it on. And like, I'm like, damn, man, I just paid her how much to do this and the mugs are this. Like, it's not making me any money, but I love doing it. And, you know, somebody else is happy. And that's what got me to where I am, working on a Lambo, working on this. Is those little fucking stickers.
Yeah.
So,
and you never know too, right? Like that job might be like that small job right now.
100%.
And a year later might be like, hey man, we sent some mugs to you last year. Can you do like the new banners for the whole football stadium? Like,
Can I tell you a cool story?
Yeah, tell me a cool story about that.
Cool story about opportunities. The Snap-on dealer, I don't buy Snap-on tools. I can't afford that shit. But he's always in our area of bays. And he came in one day and he's like, hey man, I got like maybe like a project for you. There's this garage like out by Smith Falls, so like an hour, 20 minutes away from your business. I sold a Snap-on toolbox to this young guy, and he hates the chrome on like the lips, like 2-inch piece of chrome, about like 24 inches long on his whole toolbox. Toolbox probably worth like 20, 30 grand. And he wants something more young, hip, whatever, not chrome. Can you just wrap the ledges on it? I'm like, yeah, of course. Here's the, you know, samples. Tell him to pick a color. Tell me, and I'll go out and install it. My mom lives probably about like a half hour from there. So I'm like, cool. We're going to book it on a Friday. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do this install. Opportunity. You never know what happens. I go out there. I install these 1-inch strips on this guy's toolbox, mechanic bay out in the middle of nowhere. And I hit it off with all the mechanics. We're all shooting the shit, good times. And the owner comes over and he's like, hey, he's like, did you see all the cars next door? I was like, no, what do you mean? He's like, oh, come on, I'll show you. Come on, I'll show you. We go next door. They have this massive building that doesn't look like anything. He opens the doors up and there's like a double-decker trailer with a motorhome attached to it that's all wrapped for a drag race team. There's like 15 classic vehicles all restored in there, 4 or 3 dragsters. And I'm like, holy shit, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, where are we? And he's like, yeah, like this is our team. Like, you know, my whole family races. And so, yeah, fast forward to a couple months, maybe a month after, calls back. He's like, hey, we have 3 dragsters we want to wrap. So I go back out there and wrap 3 dragsters out of these fucking 1-inch Snap-on toolbox.
That's amazing.
Drawer wraps.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Oh.
It's got the old military green here on the inside of the doors.
Dude, that's sick.
That's cool. It kind of ties in the. Well, so it was it was old.
Bro, Dylan, it's my new album cover. So.
And so, like, yeah, 100%. Like those little opportunities. Like every time my phone rings, and I don't care if you're tired, and like there's so many times that I'm like, oh, man, like it's like I don't know 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like I just pushed hard all day, all week, whatever, and you're like, and there's that like little part of you that's still, you know, like the I work 8 to 5 mentality. It's still in there. It's like just hit ignore, and you're like, no, this is an opportunity, and you answer it, and like I would say at least 6 times out of 10. It's like, hey man, yeah, I was thinking of doing this, because the only people that are calling you after business hours are generally the ones that know you're all in for opportunity.
Yeah.
And so you're like, holy shit, like I'm glad I answered this call. So
yeah. Do you do anything to like balance that out? Like there's some people that are like, I know a few business owners that are like, oh no, I take my weekends off, or no, my evenings after this time are X. Can you still be competitive doing that? And if you can or can't, what do you do like to kind of find what some people call balance?
I feel like probably the worst person to ask that.
Okay.
I have zero balance. Like I watched the other podcast you had, talking about, focusing on your health because you don't want to get to like retirement or get to an age where you can enjoy the stuff and not be healthy, not be in shape, not be able to do the things you want to do. And so, yeah, I'm literally the like poster child of like zero balance. I'm like, all right, next week I'm working till 6:30 max, and I'm going home. I'm going to enjoy some time and relax, or I'm going to take this weekend off.
Do you relax though? Like, can you shut off?
No.
Like, yeah. Okay.
And I feel like I really, really hate excuses. So, and I hate titles, like titles in terms of like, oh, I have ADHD, or I have this, I have that. I don't know what I have. I probably have ADHD. So like,
You have work ethic, bro.
That's right, yeah.
It's called work ethic, and it's vacant.
it's something, yeah. And so like I get home and I'm like sitting with Claire and we're gonna watch a movie or something, and like 20 minutes in and I'm like shaking. She's like, hey, like relax, like chill. And I'm like, I just need to do something. It's gotten a lot better for sure. Like now that we have like a routine, we know what the business is doing, we got a sort of a flow. It's a little bit easier to, take a break once in a while.
Yeah.
But during that break, 100%, like your mind, something is still working.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're physically doing something, you're writing stuff down, you're thinking of stuff, you're doing something always.
I think life like works on polarities too. So like we go through these cycles where like everybody will shit on like, they'll like glamorize entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to be out there grinding. There's like a lot of people that have that mantra.
Yeah.
And then you have another group, which is the opposite end of the spectrum, that is like, you need balance and you need to set your thing. I think you find whatever works for you. It's kind of like there was like that study that like interviewed like the top 100 billionaires in the world and asked them what time they woke up at.
Yeah.
And you've got guys that range from literally 2:30 in the morning, they start their day, and you've got other guys that start at 10 or 10:30. I think Bezos starts his day at like 10 o'clock.
Right.
So like there's a million ways to a destination.
Yeah.
So I think it's like finding what works for you and then not letting the noise of like society be like, you need to have balance because that's what everybody's saying you need.
Exactly.
But if you get fulfillment off of what you're doing, I think that is healthy. I think a lot of people operate really well working 16 to 18 hours a day. If they're truly passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
it's
you can start going like stir crazy too, right? If you're not that kind of person. Like there's a lot of people as well that are entrepreneurs or business owners that do it just for the title, right? Like there's people that are like, yeah, I work for myself, and they're gone Thursday at 5 o'clock to take an extra long weekend to go do something. And you're like, and you wonder why, like you're not busy. You're wondering why you're working like still paycheck to paycheck. Like you're not doing anything. So there's a really like fine balance between people that, say they're entrepreneurs, say they should hustle, say you should do this. Like you said, like there's whatever works for you, whatever makes you happy. And that's what I'm a huge believer in is if it makes you happy, you don't need a Lambo, perfect. But guess what? There's a lot of fucking people that would absolutely love a Lambo, which is why every time you go out, there's people taking pictures. So there's not one person that does not want a Lambo, So they'll say it. They'll be like, nah. Like you said, like money's not everything. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Because if you can have enough money to like make sure your whole family never works, I guarantee that would fucking make you happy.
Yeah.
Or if you could donate $100,000 to a charity, I guarantee that would make you happy.
Yeah.
So what is?
I think it's what it represents, right? Like, if you woke up or if you were born on day one of being on Earth and your parents said that you wouldn't be able to comprehend this as an infant, but they just handed you the keys to an Aventador. Yeah. You would have no concept. When you turn 5, 6, 7, now you're 16 and you finally get that car or whatever, and you've never done anything for it, you wouldn't know what that actually truly represents. Sure. And so it's the character development. I think it's like a Jim Rohn quote that's like, everybody should strive to be a millionaire, not for the money, but for the character that you develop along the way.
Right.
And I don't know, like I said, in first generation business owners, I don't know a single person that's been somewhat successful that is not a drastically different person than when they started on day one in both character and in knowledge and skill set and everything. And typically, in my experience, those are some of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. So it's interesting. But they're also, you do kind of, like, Do you feel that as you like get further along, your circle has to change, or like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, yeah.
Like I don't really have a circle anymore. It's it's like non-existent. Like your circle is like-minded people. So like you're in my circle, your brother's in my circle, but like even that circle is very like, we don't have to see each other to be like, yo, I get you. How you doing? You ask the right questions. We respect our time. We respect our business. So like the lifestyle is more understood when you have a like-minded circle. I have tons of friends, and I'm like super okay with it because I see that they're still in the same exact place. And not that I obviously think that I'm better than them in any kind of way, but this is the goal that I set out for myself and I'm achieving it. And most of them are either okay with that and they just continue on their lives, or they're unhappy, or they're jealous, or, you know, they're just like, oh, I'm not a part of their success anymore, and they're gone. Yeah. So same thing with family. Like as soon as I had a business, I don't know why, but then I started had family reach out and be like, hey, can I borrow like $50? And I'm like, bro, you know how fucking broke I am? Like I'm negative so much money right now. Can I borrow $50? Yeah. And so yeah, like just the mindset of like a business owner has tons of money. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like the landlord concept. It's like everybody looks at like their landlord as like this person that's like evil. Infinite money, evil as hell, sits on like a golden throne. And I had a couple buddies back in when I lived in Windsor, and they were like their tenants, every single one they had in like their homes were only cash flowing like $100 a month. So like if they missed 1 month of rent because somebody didn't pay, they're out. They're literally out of pocket, like not being able to pay. And that's their only cash flow source. Yeah. Most of the families in those homes were actually making more than the landowner or the homeowner. And they just hope to God that the thing is going to increase in value or that they're going to get a couple years rent. And obviously there's levels to that. But it really is very much so. Like most people, you know, and everybody from the outset, it's easy to be like, oh, they must be doing great. Yeah. But you never know the cycles of things. Huge misconception.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything different than this. Anytime a business has shown like massive amounts of growth and from the outset, they're like, holy shit, they're hiring, they've got a new space and whatever. Yeah. I guarantee their cash flows are the worst they've ever been. Yeah. They're fucked. Yeah. They're tapped out. But from the outside, it's like they're growing, which is amazing. It's all part of the process. Exactly. But like when you sign your space, it's probably like your bank account was like, you're literally hard zeros. Yeah. And there's this guy, Nick, I heard him say this. He's like, what did he say? Something about cash flow. You're either cash flowing or something else. Anyways, I'll think of it. Next question. There was something there. It's gone. Yeah, you can't be cash flowing if you're growing. You're either growing or you're cash flowing. That's what it is. Bam. So you're either growing or cash flowing. And so if you're cash flowing, then you're probably not growing because you're not investing those resources back into your company. That's right. We'll just jump cut that part so it'll be clean. Right. Yeah, I'll look super intelligent.
It'll flow.
Yeah. We had a guy in this morning that was like, man, your videos are awesome. You're like just like everything's so dialed. I'm like, dude,
you have no idea.
That 30 seconds was a 6-minute video that I somehow scrounged out 30 seconds of usable content.
I mean, the funniest thing is we use your brother's name all the time. I don't know why it has nothing to do with your brother, but I have this thing. It's called One Take Jake.
Sick.
And every time I try to make a video or a reel or anything, by the end of it, I probably have like 20 videos on my phone. And I'm like, finally did the right one take. But it's like 20 in. I'm like, one take Jake.
Nice. I love it.
It's like 20, 30 in. Edited is crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's one take Jake every time.
That's hilarious. I think Casey Neistat used to do that. And that's why everyone loved his choppy content at the start. Right. When he was like booming. Because he would only do one take. Really? So all those cuts and everything, it was like this cool like creative choice that he made. But it was just because he was doing one take. He refused to do a second take. He's like, I don't have time for that. Same. He's like, one take, whatever we get. You guys deal with it in the editing floor. That's right. Yeah, and it's pretty sick. Cool. How important is content in your space?
Huge. I mean, I feel like content is
but you're brick and mortar. How does that make sense?
Content is key to everything from, I would say, like 5 years ago on. more specifically right now. Like right now, today, content is everything. Like I don't care if they use James Media, they should.
Thanks.
But it's literally everything. Like talking about going to like Amelia Island, competing, WFCT in San Antonio. I was walking around, and I'm not lying. I don't want to exaggerate, so I'll say like 5 or less people that came up to me and were like, "Yo, you're that guy from Canada, eh?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Yeah, can we get a picture with you and shit?" I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, you sure you have the right guy? Like, this is me. Like, this is my page and stuff. And they're like, yeah, man, like that's you. You make like such great content. And like, huge shout out to Caitlin because she was doing a lot of that content at that point.
Yeah.
And it was like unreal. Like my content is like picture. Like I know what I want. What I want is like shit I can't afford. And what I was putting out was like picture, post, so cool. Like check out this shitty transition. And then she came along and was like, pretty dope shit. And then so all these people were giving us feedback and like, yo, your content's awesome. Like, keep doing it, keep doing it. Like literally like all of the stuff we do about flat glass now, all the videos I've posted, every time someone comes to me now is, yo, I saw your video on TikTok. Yo, I saw your video on YouTube. I saw your video on Instagram. We need this in our life. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, man. Like the power of something free on top of it, for the most part, like unless you want to pay a professional, but 98% of it is going to be free.
Yep.
And people don't use it.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Dude, it's unbelievable. It's like, actually Chris, who was just in, was like, he's like, dude, it's crazy. Like, obviously,
was he like, yo, Kado did an awesome job in my car?
Yeah. Actually, oh fuck, we didn't even talk about that.
Really?
Oh, bro, Chris is so funny. Yeah, we'll do a 3-way and we'll get everybody in.
Oh yeah.
Actually, all of our cars, we'll just get them rewrapped, and then we'll do like a follow up on it, and it'll be perfect.
That's a good idea.
But no, he was saying that about how like with the content and like obviously that it's everything, but yeah, it really is everything.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I think if you are not in that content space, you're missing out on a massive market. And he was like, yeah, it's crazy that you can obviously do paid on socials, which is fantastic. But there's so much organic reach there, aside from taking the time investment and putting that time equity in just to create the content. And it's as simple as literally just turning your camera around and just talking to people. Like it's your customers at the end of the day. So I think, to be honest, I think it's one of the most ignorant things in the world if a business owner is not doing it.
Oh, for sure.
Like if a business owner is not doing content, that is the most ignorant thing they could do to their clients.
If you're happy with where you're at, cool.
Sure.
But if you are a business that wants to grow,
Yeah.
and you're not using it, like what are you doing with your?
And if you value your clients, like your clients want to have a vested interest in the products that they're purchasing.
Yeah.
Reality is you could go and buy any product from anybody. Like lots of people do the same thing, right?
Exactly.
So if you aren't taking the time out of your day to at least acknowledge the investment that your clients are making, I think that's I think it's ignorant.
For sure.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah. And I think it's super beneficial for us as well. Like for you, I mean, you already do media, but like the fact that you do media and cover your clients is like a win-win for them. Like they're getting promotion out of it. When we do commercial wraps or anything business-wise, they're getting free exposure. We're getting exposure. It just, it doesn't make sense not to do it. Why?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. What has been the most difficult part of the shop, like about the business, maybe in the last year? What's like the hardest thing that you've had to navigate?
I feel like I honestly thinking about it, probably two things. One would be within the business would be staff. I feel like it's the only variable thing. See, I have great staff, great people, but it's always those like, oh, like I'm sick today, or I'm quitting, or can I leave early, or I forgot to do this. Like when it's just you, accountability is like my number one thing. So you're the only one that's accountable. You're the only one that fucks up. You're the only one that does mistakes. When it's somebody else, it's not like, oh, you were sick, like shame on you. I'm happy that you're home and like focus on yourself, take as much time as you need. But now the accountability is now me, and now I'm like, oh shit, like now I gotta make it for this, I gotta make it. So having staff is obviously like the biggest question mark. You never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
Whereas clients, you can say no to a client. You can be like, no, I don't want to use a client. Or like there's a no-show. It's kind of like, oh, okay, like that's what clients do. It's expected sometimes. So staff is definitely the biggest what if, what's going to happen.
Yep.
They're all amazing, but, and then the other one, I guess, as an entrepreneur is the realization of if you aren't good at that work-life balance, like I am, not good at it, it's like I'm very close to the people that I love, and it's very hard to like know that, like I just went and visited my dad last weekend, a long weekend. I'm booking this weekend off. My dad is like not super healthy right now. He had like a super big health scare like a year ago during COVID. So I was like, shit, like I moved back because my last grandparent passed away, and I was like, shit, my parents are like next in line basically, right? Like age-wise. So I need to move back to be with them. And since starting the business, I feel like I've seen them less than I did when I was at West, which is super shitty. And it sucks because like, you're like internally like guilting yourself. You know, you feel bad. You feel like a shitty person because you're not visiting, you're not doing this, and you live so close. And like, yeah, they understand because, you know, they're your family or your girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And the support is great. But at the end of the day, when you actually think about it, you're like, fuck, like I'm missing out on this. Or if people have kids and families, it's like I'm missing birthdays or whatever.
Yeah, there's like that sacrifice component.
Exactly.
Yeah. You told me before what you used to sleep in the shop when you're starting.
Hell yeah.
Why
It's
was
like
that?
the best thing ever.
It is the best thing.
It is. Well, I was actually looking for a place. I think I told you I was looking for a place that had like an upstairs that I could make a bedroom. Because, like I just wanted to. Like if I didn't have a girlfriend, 100%, I would have a great lifestyle of
just
sleeping at the shop,
living,
up,
work,
down,
and
up,
everything.
down. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Like I would not leave those four. I already almost don't leave the four walls already.
Yeah.
Even less if if I was single. But yeah, so when I first started, it was lots of like all-nighters, I have no idea what I'm planning for on how to manage time and things like that. So yeah, I would have tons of nights where I'd sleep at the shop. I'm by myself, so like it's perfect. I don't have any staff to like, you know, show up and I'm like in my boxers or something. And so it was a really, really cool, really humbling experience. And again, luckily enough, I had a super supportive girlfriend that she would like sometimes be like, okay, cool. And then she would show up at like midnight with the dogs and blankets and snacks and be like, okay, like we're having a sleepover party. Let's do this. I haven't seen you in a couple of days or something. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like this is, it's either, like you have to have somebody like that in your life. Yeah. Or be single. You cannot have somebody that's just like, where are you? Where are you? Why are you late? Oh, come on. You're never going to achieve your goals as a business if you're somebody or yourself is limiting.
100%. That I agree 100%. I think trying to balance those two things, it's like, I don't know if it's possible. I've never known anyone. I've had some amazing mentors in my life, and in every single one of the ones that were married, they're all divorced. Really? And of any of the ones that were single through their 20s that never, they never had any serious relationships, they've all done by far the best. Really? Yeah. Yeah, now they're at the stage where, you kind of work backwards and then go, oh, okay, maybe I want a relationship now or here. Unless you can find somebody along the way that really does adopt those things. But that is a definite sacrifice that the other person is making in order to accommodate and hopefully have a payoff down the line by supporting you. That's right. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. It is.
It's tough. Yeah. Very, very blessed to have found someone like that. Because I think about it, like when you're like having an argument or something like that, and you're like, fuck. Like you think about any other relationship that you've ever been in or any other potential person, like partner, and you're like, they probably would not be this. Like, I've never seen it in my life. So like this is like diamond in the rough sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. It's huge. That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Cars. You like cars? Obviously, tell us about what you rolled up in today. That thing's dope. I rolled up in my 1946 Ford pickup truck. It's on airbags.
Sick.
It's got a 5-liter engine swap, and it's got heated leather seats. Super nice. It's an old, World War II truck. Got decommissioned, sent off, or FINA, the gas station bought it, and yeah, they painted it blue, put their FINA logo on there. It still has one side is still original, with the 5 bullet holes in there, and yeah, so then they went to a farmer's field, I think, for probably like 18, 20 years or something. And then the old owner bought it, built it, and actually Dave, my mentor, he's huge into cars as well. Still has one GTR for sure.
Sweet.
Super into classics, got a square body.
What's your favorite car?
My favorite car?
Yeah.
Like all time?
Yeah, all-time favorite.
I mean, obviously a Lambo.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
What model?
I'm any Lambo. Yeah. So for some of us that don't have Lambos, any Lambo is a good Lambo.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, when I talked to Dave about buying a classic, he's like, don't build it. Just buy one that's done exactly how you want it so you can drive it and enjoy it.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What are goals for the future? Like, so you've got the shop here. What's like your long-term goal and then immediate goal?
So immediate goal is, so we have a new person starting on Monday. So we get them trained up, and I think that they are going to probably bring the business to another level, which I'm super pumped about. So short term, I would say just keep things flowing. We're figuring everything out. Like we're finally finding momentum, figuring out what is profitable, what I need to focus on. So keep this up. But like long term, most definitely, my big goal was to have a training center, because we're kind of like in the middle of Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. Have a training center off by the 401, and train everything. Like you can train how to be a front desk receptionist, how to be a detailer, how to be a tinter, how to be everything. Maybe we shouldn't put this in here.
What's that?
My idea.
Oh, okay. We can cut it. if you want
No,
to.
it's all good. It's all good. So that's my long-term goal. Long-term goal is to
Just do like training center, like training center. Got it.
Maybe some more locations, but I mean, the opportunities that I've had through TintWiz and other things, they're talking about doing training, like in Florida and stuff. So my passion, I guess, would be really like, I love teaching people.
Yep.
So if I could teach people how to do stuff.
When you're ready to do a digital course, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll shoot the digital course.
Done deal. I love it. I like
Nice.
it.
That's awesome. Staying in Kingston, or do you want to move, like you mentioned Florida?
I mean, I love Kingston. Like Kingston's like my hometown. Well, Sealy's Bay technically.
Yep.
But Kingston's my everything. So I'd love to stay in Kingston. But I'd really, really love to move into the States. Like earlier, you're asking me, like, if you were in a different place, do you think, you'd be bigger? If I moved, and I've been told this, if I moved to the States or somewhere like Toronto or something, doing what I've achieved here in Kingston, I'd be laughing for the rest of my life. Like, so it's kind of a shitty feeling to know that like I'm limiting myself being in Kingston with the potential that I have and the drive that I have and what I've achieved already in 3 years and a year and a half of that being in COVID. So that's another thing. Don't start a business what was it like? I'm talking about this. So like 3 months before COVID.
Nice.
Do not do that. Not ideal.
That's good advice.
Yeah. So if you think there's a pandemic that's about to hit, don't start your business. Although it did really help us because it made me really focus on social media. That was the only way that I could get out.
Man, I agree. Like digital that was the big shift for digital for us. And I think it was a huge wake up call for a lot of businesses. Like look at the businesses that did astronomically well through that period. Obviously there were certain industries that just couldn't operate. So that is what it is. Yeah. But ones that did just absolutely kill it usually utilize digital. Exactly. Most of them, if you were to look back and kind of see what was that kickoff point to really turn the needle a certain way, it was their utilization of digital mediums. And that's been, I mean, we see it all the time, which is awesome. So
there's a lot of businesses that I feel like they didn't know what to do. Like I'm glad I started during that time because now I know exactly what I need to do digitally. Whereas a lot of companies that have been open for, operating for 15 years, they're so old school. It hits and they're like, what the fuck do I do now? How do I get out? How do I socialize? It's like, this is what I do.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of those traditional mediums, like if you're operating in there, you'll get another like 10 years out of it maybe, you know? Exactly. But if you're not, which is, you know, keep operating in what you're doing, but start to look at the next generation where those customer cycle is going to come from. Yeah. And most times it's going to be accessible through digital. Tattoos in business. Yeah. Are they a client stopper, like, or are they benefit? A lot of people don't like, it's talking about the old school. Like a lot of people are like, is there any hesitation? Have you ever had, like, obviously we're both fucking covered in tattoos, but.
I feel not that I've known, and I'm very surprised sometimes by the clients that I do get. And I'm like, that's really nice of you. Like obviously that stereotype isn't, you know, present in these people that I deal with, because we deal with, you know, older generations and everything. So for me, it's been pretty good. But rumors that I've heard of other places spread of me is pretty hilarious. You know, like they're like, I've said this on another video I've made, is there was a rumor going around that I was hired at another local business, which I never worked there, and that I was a criminal. So I had a criminal record, and so I couldn't work for the city. So I couldn't do a contract for them for the city, and that's why they let me go, and that's why I started my own wrap business.
So I don't know where people come up with these stories, man. It's crazy.
Like if your business is doing so bad that you have time to start rumors about another business or another person, like check yourself, you know? Like I specifically don't follow anybody local in terms of like my competition. We have a saying on the wall that is, we compete with no one. We simply do better than we did yesterday. So I literally, not to like be arrogant or anything like that, I compete against myself and only me. My standard yesterday is no longer my standard today. I'm doing better today. And I feel like if you follow people that you don't strive to be, you end up like taking in those bad habits or their limitations. So if you follow all the people you look up to, you end up following in their footsteps, right?
It's a lot easier for somebody to be brought down than it is for somebody to be brought up. And that's why it's really cool if you can find mentors that are willing to take a chance on you, or like, you know, guide you along to like really value those relationships, because it is tough. Like as much as you don't want to be that person to be like, well, I don't associate with that type of person anymore or those people, it does set you, a lot of people interpret that as just an arrogance towards, you know, I think I'm better than them. But the reality is it's like, I can't afford to adopt those habits. That's right. And so as you kind of progress and try to be like the weakest link in the room, or the dumbest person in the room, it is super, super valuable. And keeping that mindset of like trying to always progress. And like you said, try to be better than yesterday. That's right. That's like the most important thing that you can do, I think. Yeah. Because it's your life that you have to answer for, obviously, at the end of the day. So, yeah. And
I guess, so back on the tattoos, I don't think anybody's judged me for them. I feel like they do, for sure. But yeah, most people are pretty accepting.
Yeah.
And I'm not the like face of the business for the most part. Like when people walk in, they're generally greeted by like, I ordered some new black valve covers.
Oh, for here?
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know engines, bro. I just know how to break them.
I know how to drive the fuck out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I just drive them until the oil stuff's running through, and then I just top them up again. It's perfect.
So this year truck from 42 to 47, they're actually called jail bar front ends.
Okay.
They look like jail bars.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
Amazing, bro.
This is where they used to start it. So you put the pole in the crank.
Actually?
Yeah.
That's like a plane.
It's fucking wild, man.
Didn't they do that with the prop?
Oh yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
And so I bought another front end for it and rear fenders. And the guy was restoring the cab, and the cab had a bullet hole right through like
actually
where the back of the head is. And
holy
it's still
shit! It was in service, like it was a vehicle that was in service.
Yeah. Like it's fucked. I mean, this one still has 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I moved back from Alberta, I had lots of offensive stickers, but one that I had was "Don't bite the hand that feeds you," and it was like the sign of Alberta, and it was posted all over the Queen's page when I got here. I hated it.
You're a white
bad.
supremacist, dude.
Yeah,
we'll cut
basically.
that part.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there, stitch that together.
How many times have you asked Lucas to wrap his Lambo?
I think I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think like I suggested it. I was like, yo, if you're gonna like do the rally, I think it would look pretty cool with like these pictures. Hint, hint.
It would look sick. So Jake's gonna wrap the Porsche.
Yeah.
So the Porsche is gonna get wrapped for the rally. I plan to drive the black, like keep the Kado black for now.
Yeah.
And then desert tan. Desert tan Kado.
I saw a few trucks.
The TRD.
As soon as you mentioned it, I started seeing it. I was like, oh shit, that's nice.
That usually always happens. You like buy this new car and then you're like,
yeah.
they're like, nobody has it. And then you see like 6 of them. You're like, damn it. I'm yet to still see, apparently in Kingston, there's only two Lambos. And the one guy's a nerd. He never drives it.
Really?
Yeah, he's a dork.
Damn.
Yeah. I actually don't know him. He could be a cool dude. But anybody that doesn't drive their cars, to me is a dork. I had one guy it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, and he was like bragging about the fact that he only put 1,000 kilometers on his Viper in the last 5 years.
Really?
I'm like, bro, that's not flex.
Come on. Yeah.
That's not a
we
flex.
actually just did a full front end PPF on a 2019 Corvette, and the guy, super awesome clients, and he's like, yeah, I drive this all the time. Not in the winter, but
was it
rain. Jonathan, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah.
He's super awesome guy.
Bro, he's one of the most like best advocates for our like entire city.
Really? Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the head of the Corvette Club, right?
Really?
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that organized like the entire Corvette invasion. There was over 500 Corvettes here.
Oh, John Price.
Yeah.
No, not John Price.
Oh, a different John.
Different John.
Yeah, we're talking about different Johns.
All Jonathans are like Chevy guys.
They are. Yeah. That's
No,
classic.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Anything else you want to chat about? Where can people find you? How do we book? How do we book a wrap or
Wrapture.ca. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I don't know what all the.
Yeah, plug them all, man. Plug them all.
Wrapture Kingston.
What are all the services? Lay them out. How can we use you?
We'll start with the best ones. So we got flat glass, commercial, residential.
Yep.
So heat rejection, privacy, glare, those sort of things. Then we got paint protection film. So for the vehicle, it's protected from rock chips. You can also do countertops. If you have like a high-end home, you got marble slab countertops or something like that. We can put PPF on it so you protect it.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right?
Is that new? Like
you just get creative, man. Like what can this go on? Same thing with the exo shield, the stuff that's on your windshield to stop rock chips. People put it on glass. They put it on countertops. They put it on a lot of different things.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sick.
You have to like, man, I hate people that don't try to innovate, like come up with new ideas all the time. Do you have like a think place, like a think tank? Like, is there like a place or something that you do that like most of your ideas come from?
Yeah, late at night driving. That's why I love
Really?
driving. Yeah, I just go on a drive and I kind of remove myself from here because if you're in it all the time, it's hard to whatever. So anytime I can get away, I try to do Airbnb in the county, do it like a weekend, and all my ideas come then.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine is in the shower.
In the shower?
Every time I shower, it's just like fucking, like I shower for literally maybe like 2 minutes. I'm like, shower, okay, guy shower, whatever, done.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, which is generally like a half hour, I'm just like standing there in the water. And I'm just like, oh shit, that's a good fucking idea. I'm like, hey Siri.
Bro, so that's
Make a note.
That's what I do. So I was just gonna say, but how do you do the voice note? Because if I'm driving, I always just punch a voice note because I have a bunch of ideas. My phone, if anybody went through my phone, it's just voice note.
Yeah.
So you just hey Siri it, and
100%.
Siri punches that shit in.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'll watch like Gary Vee podcasts and put it in the shower. And just like, okay, that's a good idea.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
You should chat GPT. So as soon as you tell Siri the prompt, it automatically is executing for you.
On my phone?
Yeah. Or whatever the idea is. You just like link it so that it's like totally integrated into your business eventually. And then you just tell it things to do and do everything.
So I'm a huge AI guy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'd like to hear what.
I don't know how to do it. I'm
Okay.
just saying you should do it.
I'll just ask ChatGPT how to do it.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT to write you a code to automate your entire life.
Exactly.
It probably could do it.
30 seconds. Done.
Probably, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts.
It is fucking mind blowing. And like, so I feel like for a business like you, there's a lot of people that are scared of like, oh, this is going to replace my job. This is going to do this. This is going to replace James Media. Like if it's where it's at now, who knows what it's going to be in 5 months, a year, 2 years. But the people that are like you, that are like me, are going to use all this shit to their advantage and be like, okay, how can I use AI to make your experience even better and quicker and more efficient and everything like that? So you're always going to be around. You're always going to have marketing and everything. It's going to be 10 times better than someone who doesn't use AI.
100%.
Right? Like,
yeah, 100%. And we're not at a stage yet where AI is inputting its own prompts.
yeah.
Where we take over the entire world. So
That we
it's
know of.
yeah, so it's still dictated by the input. So as long as it's kind of like an F1 car. So if you have like an F1 car that's sitting there and you've got a 16-year-old that's never driven a car before and they hop in there, they're going to drive that car not even close to its capability. In fact, they're probably going to crash and burn. Yeah. Whereas then you get like a seasoned driver that's a veteran and been doing it forever. They're going to utilize that car in a way that 16-year-old couldn't do it because their input response is going to be totally different. Right. So that's kind of like AI. So you can either sit there and be like, oh, I don't want to learn it, whatever.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. That was like well, I don't know if your grandparents were tech savvy, but a lot of the old generation was like, I don't know how to use a computer. It's like all those people today that are our age going like, I don't want to use AI. It's like, you're that person.
No idea. Yeah.
It's crazy.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You either adapt and you take all this in and you innovate and you blow people out of the water. You know, it's like people who like didn't invest in Bitcoin. It's like, oh yeah, that's stupid. And now like I guarantee tons of them are millionaires and they've retired and are living the life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so all those people that I feel as soon as somebody says something like that, you're like, okay, delete contact. I don't want you in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If that's your mindset, if it's scary, if it's, oh yeah, no, that's, you know, you are limiting yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's going to happen. It is happening.
For sure.
So fucking utilize it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think that about wraps up our time with Kado. Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
I appreciate you having me.
You guys do incredible work, and I'm very blessed to know you as a friend and for you to share some knowledge with us today. So appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Love it, bro.
Thank you.
Later.
We're sponsored by.
Oh fuck! I always forget to plug. All right, so there's a plug. So I've been taking this stuff. So yeah, we're actually it's Selection
PC water.
Spring water. You buy it at Walmart.
Thanks, Walmart.
Yeah, no. So have you heard of Magic Mind?
No.
Okay, so it's like nootropics.
Okay.
So it's basically like what do you do for energy? You don't drink coffee. You don't do any.
I've never tried coffee. I've never tried smoking cigarettes.
You never had a Monster?
Oh, no, I had a Red Bull once.
Oh, okay.
On my 40-hour drive to Alberta.
Okay.
I had a sip.
Yeah.
And I started shaking.
So what do you do like for your mind? Like how do you get your mind like firing? You're just life. Water?
That's it.
Okay.
I wake up and I'm boosted.
Do you intermittent fast or anything? Like when's your first meal?
Like lunchtime.
Okay.
A couple cookies.
A couple. Amazing.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this stuff. It's Magic Mind. It's like nootropics. Dylan, do we have one? Oh, they're in the fridge. Anyways, it's like these little morning shots, and they're basically like help your brain function a lot better.
Okay.
And I have actually noticed a difference.
And what's in it?
Dylan, do you want to grab one? Perfect.
You need the
This is our
plug
sound
for the
bite.
plug.
I know. They're usually sitting right here.
I saw that in the last one.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. They're pretty good.
Was that his?
They're amazing. No, I've been taking them. They sent us a whole bunch to try them, like to actually see if it works. So
Right.
I've been doing intermittent fasting forever, but lately now, because I'm dieting down, getting a little bit leaner, getting summer ready. And
It's a little late.
what's that?
It's a little late.
It's a little late.
For summer.
No, we're not summer yet. Thanks, Dylan. All right, yeah. So it's these little guys. And so Arda at our office used to make like a homemade version of this, and he would like he'd bring them in, and I'd drink them every morning.
Yeah.
But they're very, very good. They taste it. You want to try one?
I don't know. What's in it?
Literally, bro. I don't even think there's any like caffeine in this. This is just.
No, there's not.
It's just filtered water, agave, matcha, and then a bunch of other like nootropics. It's like vitamins, minerals. It won't fuck you up, dude. You won't get addicted.
I have a super sensitive stomach.
Oh no.
I think it might help it if anything.
Really?
To be honest.
Yeah. It helps. I think it helps with like gut health as
Really?
well, right? His brain.
How much
and-
are they a piece? 'Cause I don't want to get addicted to it. And then
Bro,
be like,
I don't know.
fuck.
They're only like $20 each, I think.
You're not gonna get it. It's like,
As a business owner, $20 is a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically, matcha, you know what matcha is?
No idea.
Oh, okay. So it's like you get at Starbucks if you want.
Like I watch your stories and I see where you guys go eat, and I'm like, I have no
Yeah.
idea what this fuck.
Where I eat? What do I eat?
I have no idea what this is.
Is it bougie?
Yeah.
It's fancy. Bro, I do steak frites everywhere.
Yeah?
Mid-rare steak
Okay.
frites. That's my meal. And it basically is like a focus enhancement. But it's not like medicinal. There's no, well, I mean, it's natural. It's all natural.
Okay.
So it's not like gonna fuck you up.
I'll try one.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Thank you.
I think you choose it. You shoot it just
What is
like
it called?
like
The
a.
More
like
Stress?
it's called
Stress
Magic
one.
Mind.
Magic Mind.
Yeah. It was on Rogan. Rogan was pumping this stuff.
Rogan.
It tastes good.
It's okay. You just shot. You do shots.
Yeah, you do a whole shot.
You do shots all the time.
I don't do shots.
I don't
I'm
drink.
a professional.
So I don't drink.
I'm in sales. All I do is drink.
Jesus Christ.
What do you think?
That's. I'm focused now.
How focused are you now?
I'm boosted, man.
Instant focus.
Wow.
Magic Mind.
Okay, so like my taste buds
Okay.
are used to water, white rice,
Yep.
Chips Ahoy cookies,
Oh my goodness. dude.
and chicken breast.
This is like the most
So this-
Canadian meal I've ever, or palette of food
And all the
I've ever
taste
heard.
bites.
So this was like a shock to the system then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you like it though?
I'm boosted.
What do you
I'm
rate it
pumped.
out of 10 on flavor? You be honest. You'd be like, it's a 0 if you want.
Well, like the hit is like, I don't drink, so like I feel like the hit would be like what like vodka would be or something. Like
So you feel energized.
I'm
already.
energized.
Oh, he's buzzing.
I'm pumped.
I mean, I have not eaten very much today, and
Yeah.
if I have this on an empty stomach, I definitely like feel something very quickly.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. But I was getting really bad with caffeine.
Yeah.
So like I was to the point where I was doing like 2 to 3 monsters a day.
Really?
And I am not kidding you, it was fucking me up.
No doubt.
Like I would have been better off drinking a 2-4 every night.
Yeah.
Because I would by 4 o'clock just be like jittery, my mind's like firing
Foggy.
all over the no, not foggy, hyper elevated.
Really?
To the point where I felt like I was tweaking
Okay.
all the time. So I tried to cut monsters and everything out, and I've been doing this
Yeah.
in the morning and unicity, which is like another energy boosting thing, but there's no caffeine.
Right.
So it's yerba mate and matcha. It's like about as natural as you can get. And I've go ahead.
One thing that I would spend all of my life savings on,
Hmm.
and that I'm searching for, is the pill that's in the movie Limitless.
Oh yeah,
That would be awesome.
yeah.
I'd love to find that. So if this does that,
I don't think this does that, but
I'm
you
in.
try.
we can try. We'll never know unless we try.
You're gonna open a Florida shop tonight. Onboard 14 new staff. Lambo's parked outside the next day. It's like, holy fuck, what happened? You're like,
Let's
I took
go.
Magic Mind.
Magic mind.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
Sick.
in.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never know until you try.
You never know. Yeah, you try everything twice.
Yeah,
That's
at
what
least
they say.
At least
Yeah.
twice.
'Cause you never know. First time could have just been a bad experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I tried smoking weed twice.
Did you?
Yeah,
Maybe
first
you
time
didn't
same thing,
like
bad
it.
experience, hospital.
Yeah.
Second time, same thing.
Really?
No more smoking weed.
Shit.
Weed is not my thing.
Damn.
No drugs. Yeah, that's fucked up.
I don't smoke. I don't smoke weed. Can't do it.
No?
Never liked it.
Ever, but you've tried it.
Oh, I've tried it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to do edibles when I was like lifting a lot on Friday. Like after back day, I'd just fucking crank 200 milligrams of THC as like a non-smoker, bro. Really? I would hit my pillow at
Yeah.
like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
My entire world would start to spin.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, in the middle of the night, I could watch my muscles being repaired.
No way.
Oh, it was fucked up, dude. Like it was like hyper like aware. And that was the time where that 1 year it looked like I was cycling, bro.
Okay.
I'm natural. I put on almost 60 pounds in a year.
No way.
And not just like fat weight.
Yeah.
Like I was big.
Right.
But it wasn't like, holy fuck, he was like obese.
Yeah.
I was strong, felt healthy. Like it was crazy, but I was doing that every week.
Right.
Well, on the weekends I'd just recover. But then it started getting a little too much. I was foggy on Mondays and I was like, I don't like this.
I mean, I feel like seeing your muscles repair themselves is too much.
Dude, it was nuts.
That's
Literally,
not
I
the fogginess
watched the
that's too much.
fibers fucking repair themselves. It was the craziest shit in the world. It was
Really?
like, yeah, it was supernatural.
That's unreal.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Man,
But yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that people tell me, and I'm like, maybe I should try drugs.
Bro, right? I know. I'm like, wait, that was your experience with that? I'm like,
Yeah.
that wasn't mine.
Yeah, like mushrooms and acid and stuff. Like people tell me that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I should try something.
There's a lot of guys in the entrepreneurial space
Yeah.
that microdose.
100%.
Like tons.
yeah. Heard
Weed's
that.
a big one too. I've got a bunch of agency buddies that vape
Yeah.
fucking all the time, but it's like THC or whatever.
Whatever helps. Yeah.
Bro, I can't do it. I don't know. Again, and there's like a million ways to a destination.
Exactly.
Because you hear some guys go like, the first thing you got to do is not, smoke.
Not do drugs.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
don't smoke
drink.
weed or
Yeah.
whatever. And then you got other guys that are like, no, alcohol is the best thing ever for sales. Like
That's
you
right.
just fucking, like once you start drinking at noon, you're like it takes the edge off and you can close more deals.
Yeah.
And really figure out what works for you
right.
and what's a healthy lifestyle that you can keep up. I think
you're happy with.
consistency is key. And happy with. Yeah. If you go to bed every night feeling like shit, you probably change something. Yeah.
There's too many opportunities in life to not be happy doing what you're doing.
I agree. It's crazy to me that I just had this conversation with Jake about winter.
Yeah.
This was 100% the last winter I will spend in Canada.
Really?
100%.
I'm in.
Because bro, it's like for 3 months here, you're like, I don't want to go outside.
Press. Yeah.
That's absurd.
I don't want to get dressed. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to shovel. I don't want to do this in my car. And like, especially in our industry, that's another reason why like Florida, these places in the US, when I drove there and I saw that they had car washes outside all the time, I'm like, what is going on? Like clearly the business booms all the time. Like I talked to tinters there, especially like flat glass people, and they're like, we just take a vacation whenever because it's there all the time.
Yeah.
All the time we get to do what we want to do. So yeah, I'm super down.
It's insane.
No Canada winters anymore.
It's nuts. It's like, imagine you're in, well, your business is exactly that. It's like you're in construction or something.
Yeah.
Imagine you're doing concrete.
Exactly.
And it's like, you just can't work for 4 months
Right?
because you physically cannot because of your geographical location.
right.
That's absurd.
I'm a huge believer that like Canada should have discounts or something from the government for those slow months. And we should also get massive discounts on our vehicles because we pay the same prices they do in the States.
Yeah.
And ours are rotten in a year and a half, rusted, falling apart, looking like the 46, but it's a 2023.
Yeah.
And we're paying the same price.
I think NASA needs to really work on their weather control and start making like global warming a thing up here
right.
because we're not feeling
Really,
it.
though,
man. It's
shift
still
that
cold
stuff.
in the winters.
Shift that flat earth sun over here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So anyway, nice, bro.
Cool.
I think we'll.
Thanks, Magic Mind.
Yeah. It all kicked
We're
off for
already
Magic
kicking
Mind.
ideas around.
I could go for another 4 hours,
Right?
bro. This shit fucks.
Yeah.
There. That's their new tagline. Magic Mind. This
Magic
shit
Mind.
fucks. Hard.
Hard.
Nice.
Oh, man. Hell yeah.
Sweet, bro. Cool.
Thank you.
Wrap it up.
Appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
It's dope as fuck.
Thanks for coming in.